Hi, Cutie Pies. It is Lanickia, and I am coming to you with Season 1, Episode 3 of The Big Leap called The White Swan Lives. Okay, I love this show. I don't know how I actually came across it. I think I was just surfing Hulu one day, like looking at all the new shows that have come out. And I saw this one, and I saw, it had 2 episodes. I was like, okay, let me see, because I do like Scott. And I started watching it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I hope other people are watching it as well, because you know how sometimes shows don't get the viewership, but it looks like they're putting out some solid numbers. So I hope this is one that stays, because you know how sometimes Fox be, if your show is on Fox, even though you might have a cult following, they will get rid of you. So I hope we watch this show, you know. So anyways, we start off with Monica, who we see how she became injured and why she's having to do this show. And it's because she shattered her knee when she was performing in Chicago. And her understudy, I guess she was kind of mean, and her understudy was more than happy to take her place. So we saw that at the beginning. And then, so then we get to them, and Wayne is making an announcement, and Nick, of course, is in his ear telling him what to say, because it was just supposed to be an announcement that we're going to see White Swan in Chicago, okay? Just to see, you're performing this, let's go and see it to see how it's professionally done. Of course, Nick couldn't leave it at that, right? So Nick goes and he tells Wayne to say, okay, not only are you going to Chicago to see it, you're going to perform in front of them, and then we're giving away a car to the person who performs the best, who's outstanding. And so, of course, Wayne and Monica are like, this is not good. Like, this is not good for them. They're going to be so focused on the car, they're going to forget about the dancing. Nick doesn't care. He wants to just make a ratings hit or whatever. Well, he doesn't care about any of that. Okay, so then they break off into their little groups and they're talking, and we see Gabby, Reggie, and Brittany. And Brittany tells them that Gabby has genital warts because she was upset because Brittany tells the producers and everything that Gabby has genital warts because Brittany was upset that Gabby let it be known that she was in the trailer servicing Reggie, last episode or whatever. And so that was her way of getting back. Plus, Brittany's just Brittany. She's just Brittany. So then we see where Gabby says, no, I don't have genital warts and all that. So then Nick is going at Justin. So they're talking in their little group or whatever, and they find out that Justin has issues with his dad, and that when he came out, his dad pretty much disowned him. And then, his mother died. And so, of course, Nick is like, we need to get to the bottom of that story. We need to dig deep, see how that's going to end. So then we see that Nick goes to Justin's dad's home, and he and the brother, they're there, and he tells him, oh, your son is performing. And Justin's dad is like, it wasn't even about him. It was about, like, he loves the Lions. And so he was like, I just wanted to see the game, and he came in turning off the game, and it was like this really important game or whatever. And so he was like, he never came back. And so I think it's a miscommunication. Although Justin's dad, you could have just easily, your son is telling, hey mama, your son is telling you something very important that's happening with him. You could have just as easily paid attention to him. But Justin feels like, it wasn't even about a game. I'm ready and open to tell you what's going on with my life or whatever. Okay, so Nick tells him, your son wants to see you. He would love for you to come to this performance. And he's like, he hasn't tried to reach out for me before, so he wasn't getting him on that. But he knows he's a big Lions fan, so he says, yeah, Reg, he's going to be performing there. He's a part of the cast. And so then he's like, okay. So then we see where, okay, y'all, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself on these notes, okay? And then we see Monica's okay, so they go to Chicago, right? And Gabby has to get up on the bus and tell them, I don't have genital warts, y'all. I don't have it. Brittany, I apologize to you. I shouldn't have said anything about you and Reggie being a couple and all that. I'm like, okay, are they a couple? Because Reggie is not denying any of this. So what's going on here? But anyways, they make it to Chicago. So they're there at the performance and they want to see the performance happen and everything. There's other stuff that happens, but I'm going to put it all together. Don't worry. So they're there to see the performance and everything. And Monica goes backstage and they tell her, oh, the girl wants to see you, your understudy. So she goes, and her understudy is just as she said. Her understudy said Monica was a shrew when she was like, what do you call the high ranking ballerina? I can't think of it. But anyway, she was a shrew when she was in that position. And she was like, I don't know what I would ever do if I couldn't dance again. And then she gets up there and starts dancing. Like, you were wrong for that girl. But I guess, like, because she got Monica's spot or whatever. But, oh, okay, so that hurt Monica's feelings. But she had to play it off because, of course, the camera's around her. And she don't want them to know, how she's really feeling and everything. Okay, so we see that. And then we see Paula and Mike. So she has already had a freak out because they're having to get fitted and everything. This was early in the episode. They had to get fitted and everything. And she's had breast cancer and she had a mastectomy. And because of that, she had enhancements to her body because she didn't want to be without breast. So it was a cute little scene where he was like, he was making a scene so that she didn't have to go through all that. Because wardrobe is very, like, they're like, we're not looking at you. We just try to get you all strapped up and ready to go or whatever. So then, they go to the place because they arrived and they're going to take their seats, and she's like, I'm super hungry. And so he's like, come on, let's go get something to eat. But they didn't make it back in time because the show starts when the show starts, and they're not going to keep the doors open for you, and you're not going to come in here late, right? So they didn't make it back in time, so they had to eat their food outside or whatever. And she's talking to him, just talking about, how her chest doesn't feel a part of her body. He was like, I feel like you want me to see. So he goes and sees, and he makes her feel comfortable and everything. So that was a cute little scene with them. Okay. So they watch the ballet, right? And then they realize, because earlier in the scene, Monica, at the when they told him about the car and everything, Monica and Nick put her on the mic where she was saying, like, these people gonna see some real professionals and realize that they are like 10th rate, not second rate, but they are nowhere near where they should be. And so they went to the ballet and they saw this and they was like, whoo, child, we are horrible. And so after it was all over or whatever, they're in the lobby and they make a big announcement and they say, oh, one of you is a fraud, one of you is criminal, and it's Claude, who was their best performer. He has to go because he's overstayed his visa. So they deport him and everything. And so Monica was disappointed in that because she was like, oh my gosh, they got to perform tomorrow. He is our best performer. I have to perform in front of my nemesis and all my old company. And she's embarrassed or whatever. So then we see, where Reggie, okay, so because Claude is gone, Gabby is like, oh, I'm the understudy. I know all the parts, because remember they told her she had to learn all the parts, right? So she was like, oh, I'm finna do I'm the prince. And and Monica was like, no, Justin, you're the prince. You're the best one. You're the prince. And Gabby was like, wait, I'm the understudy. I've learned all these parts. And Justin was like, first of all, I don't know any of this or whatever. But she was like, she wasn't budging. So Monica was really upset about it. And she was like, this is because I'm fat. Like, just say that. Like, don't tell me, because earlier, Monica had told her, you'll get your shot when your shot comes, it'll come. Don't worry, you'll get your shot or whatever. And she was like, now you singing a different tune. And Monica was just like, it is what it is. And so Reggie knew Gabby was kind of down, so he took her, and they had this dentist convention at the hotel. So he took her, and they went and got drinks and had fun and stuff. And so then they go back to the hotel, and I don't know what they was about to do, but I guess just hang out in the room or whatever. And Brittany comes out and with all her friends, and they're drunk and stuff, and they grab Reggie and they go or whatever. So that was that. So then we see Julia. husband, he not even taking care of the kids. Like, he didn't go home. Like, she's away, and he left his daughters there by themselves. He was supposed to come home, but he never showed up. And she connects with Pie, the prostitute. I don't know if you would call her a prostitute, because I think she does everything online, but I don't know. But anyway, she connects with her, and because her husband is a client of hers. So she and Pie are talking. So she and Pie are talking, and Pie is like, he seemed really nice. That this sucks that he that's going on with y'all or whatever. And then Pie lets it slip that this man has gave her $10,000 to finish her degree. And so Julia is like, what in the world? Are you got to be kidding me? I want my money back, Pop. And Pop's like, I can't help you. Like, that money was a gift from him. I can't help you with that. Mama, what is going on here? So I can't help you with that. So that's pretty much what happened with them. And then Monica talks to Nick about how embarrassing this is going to be. And he's just like, you care too much about what people think and all that. And she's just pretty much says, I sacrificed so much to have my ballet career. It just can't be over like this. And then they end up sleeping together and all that. You know how they do. So then we see Brittany is sick, y'all. Brittany has partied too hard the night before, and now she can't perform because she's throwing up and stuff, so Gabby has to take the lead. So they all get out there, and they're performing, right? And Wayne is smiling, and Monica is smiling because they performed way better than they thought they were going to perform, right? And everything is going great. And then Justin sees his dad, and he stumbles. And then Brittany's brother stumbles, and then they all just are stumbling and are fighting with each other and all over the place. And then here comes Gabby. She comes out there, and she's very serene, she's very pretty, and she's performing, and she does such a great job that she saves the show or whatever, So then it's all over with, right? So then Dustin runs out into the auditorium, and he tells his dad, what are you doing here? And his dad is like, they told me you wanted me to be here. And he said, no, I did not. Like that. And so he know Nick already did that. But he was like, no, I did not tell them I wanted you here. So then they go back and forth on it. And he's like, Dad, you left Mom to die by herself. And he was like, no, your mom wanted Tracy. And I don't know if they're trying to imply or if they implied that his mom and Tracy were actually more than just friends. But he said, your mom chose Tracy. She didn't want me in the end or whatever. And anyway, they just go to blows with words with each other and everything. And then I don't know why Reggie did this. I think he was trying to diffuse, but he went up and took a picture and was taking a picture with Justin's dad, and then like that made Justin go off even more or whatever. Excuse me, silence and I live. Oh. Anyways, so Justin's like, I'm out. And so, of course, Nick is following him. And Justin was like, no, you got what you wanted. Leave me alone. And Nick was like, I thought it was going to be a happy ending. I did not know it was going to end like that or whatever. And so he's talking to Justin, and Justin is just talking about the good memories he had with his mom, and how that he would like for his dad to just to say, I'm proud of you. You're awesome. And, just to be proud of him, just to be happy, look at what he's done, and like, that's my son and everything. And so Nick said, sometimes, I want to be the first one to tell you that you are awesome. You're an amazing dancer, because he really is a great dancer. And then, Nick is what Nick is, so it is. I think part of him it really meant that, but another part of him is it's good for the show. So then they cut back to Justin's dad, and he actually is proud of him. I don't know if they're going to let it. Hey, Mama. I don't know if they're going to let Justin know, but his dad actually is really proud of him. And he was like, my son is the prince. That's one of the leads, right? And everything. So I hope that they develop that some more, that storyline. Okay, let's see. Oh, so then Justin goes to Monica, because they're having this Gabby has thrown this big party, and they're just having fun, and they're dancing, and it's real cute. And then Justin goes to Monica, and he tells her, I want to be the best. And she said, I'm going to make you the best thing, because she believes in him. And so then we go in her room, and she has a doctor there, but I think he's like a quack doctor. And he's putting probably steroids or something in her knee because she wants to dance. But he told her, like, okay, you might feel no pain, but your knee is still shattered. Like, your knee is not well healed or whatever. And she was like, if I wanted medical advice, I would have went to a real doctor, like a better doctor or whatever. So then we see Gabby wins the car because they say, oh, you won the car because you motivated the team after a disaster. You came out there and you kept your poise. And so she won the car. And then we see Mike and Paula talk, and she was about to ask him out, but he's still all wrapped up in Paige. And Paige, because Paula has been taking pictures of Mike, and then they took a picture on Instagram, took a picture together when they were all dressed up as a ballet. And Paige saw that, and so she wants him to come over and clean her oven. Girl, don't do that. I don't like when people do that. Like, you see this man moving on, but he don't really want to move on. He's doing this just so she could tell him to come over and everything. So anyways, that was that part of it. So Paige is kind of like a Mike, but he's still hung up on Paige. Girl, leave him alone. Paula is kind of like a Mike. So then we see Julia's husband has ran off with her money. So she's talking to the accountant, right? And she was like, I know you're both our accountants, but tell me what's going on or what's going on with him. And he was like, I know where he is. He went to Costa Rica. And she said, and then he asked her, have you checked your account? And she was like, oh, no, he didn't. That man has probably wiped out her account. I'm so confused by this. Like, I don't understand people who do that when you have children and all that kind of stuff. Oh, it's just so confusing for him to be doing her like that. Then we see Brittany in the end because Gabby's got in her little red Mustang and she's ready to go. And we see Brittany in the end just standing in front. And she was like, I'm going to get you back for this. And she was like, it's not my fault you got drunk. And she was like, I don't care. I'm still going to get you back. I'm the princess and everything. I'm the Swan. And so, y'all, that was it. That's the Big Leap. I am loving this show. I don't know how it can last more than one season. But we'll see. I mean, maybe they'll bring new contestants on every season. Like, this story will end and then they'll bring somebody new on. But it doesn't matter because I am tuned in and I will be watching. Thank you for your time, Cutie Pies. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.